In this video, I want to unbox and test out the Yakima OnRamp LX. This is a bike rack that's supposed to be able to hold two bikes up to 80 pounds each. So this should be good for e-bikes. And I want to see if it works even with my fat tires because those are even larger e-bikes. So that's what we're here to test out. Let's do it. Now, when it came to assembling this bike rack, it was very simple and straightforward. The instructions were really clear and there wasn't that many steps to actually put it together, so it took me hardly any time at all. The one thing that did take me more time was actually adjusting the rack to fit the bikes that I have. So every time I put the bike up on there, I was like, oops, the things where the tires sit on are too close together or they're too far apart. So I had to keep micro adjusting it, which every time I had to take my bike back off of it, make an adjustment, put my bike back up on it again. So that took me a little bit of time to get that figured out. And then also I had to spend some time deciding what orientations the bikes were gonna be in. So at first I put the heavier bike in the back, and then I started thinking, shoot, I should have put the fat tire bike closer to the vehicle. That way the center of gravity is going to be better when I'm actually driving versus having the heavier item farther out. So I had to swap the order that they were in. And then you might also have to decide whether you want the bikes to face the same direction when you load them, or if you want them facing opposite directions. The reason I put them in opposite directions was because the handlebars were kind of hitting each other when they were facing the same way, and I didn't want them scraping into each other. But that will probably depend on what bikes you have, because it depends on where your seat post is, how the frame layout is, so all those things you might have to take into consideration. So that part takes a little bit, trying to figure out how to adjust the rack to properly hold and secure your bikes. The good news is once you have that figured out though, you're probably most likely never gonna have to do that again, because you'll always load them the same way and unload them the same way. So once you get it dialed in the first time, you shouldn't have to worry about it. The only reason you would have to change it is if you constantly have different bikes that you like riding, so you might have to keep changing the setup. But if you always ride the same two bikes, then it shouldn't be a problem for you. This rack attaches to your bike in 3 different spots. It has little clamps that hold the tires, and then it also has one more clamp that goes around either the frame of your bike or the seat post, wherever it fits best. And they're kind of like those clips that are on skis or different things like that. If you ever wore snow boots like that have those click, 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 click. That's kind of the mechanism they use, which is very simple and easy to use. I didn't have a problem getting them secured to it. And then once I did, it felt like they were very snug and in place. There wasn't much wiggle or give to them, so I feel like they're held in pretty securely. The bottom base of this that the tires sit on can extend pretty far out. So if you have a cargo e-bike, it also can accommodate that. So I didn't struggle at all getting the fat tire e-bike on there, even though it is a larger bike. There wasn't an issue with it. And then just a normal sized e-bike as well I put on there, and it wasn't an issue either way putting both of them on. Since this Yakima OnRamp has a higher weight capacity, I'm glad that it included a little travel ramp to put your e-bikes onto it. That made it very simple, especially with fat tire e-bikes. They're very heavy, so if I had to actually pick that up and put it on it, it would have probably been very difficult. But the fact that I can just roll it on up this ramp, it was very simple. And then the ramp just attaches to the rack as well, so you can travel with it and use it again when you're unloading them or when you load them back up. When it comes to actually driving with this rear rack, I haven't felt any difference in how the vehicle handles. It doesn't feel like it's very wiggly back there, so it feels like it's held in place very nicely. That way it's not kind of shifting the weight of the vehicle back and forth, so it feels very secure, and it doesn't even feel like I'm hauling any cargo behind me, even though both of those e-bikes combined come in at a total of 120 pounds, so it's quite surprising how nicely this is holding up. I don't feel worried at all about driving with it, and the road that I live on is very bumpy, as you can maybe see. So they're just bouncing around back there, and it seems to be fine. No issues. I think also on their website they have a lighting kit that you can purchase as well to attach to your bikes. That way you have an extra brake light and turn signals as well. So if you think that your bikes are going to obstruct too much of the view of your actual taillights, then you might want to consider getting that add-on. I personally don't have it and don't think I'll run into too much of an issue because I can still see the brake lights, but that might be something I'd consider purchasing in the future, especially if you're riding at night. It just might give you a little bit more visibility when you're driving, when you have this rack installed. So might not be a bad purchase. A nice feature that I liked about this bike rack is that you can actually fold it up if you don't have any bikes on it at the moment. This way it takes up less space, and I was able to pull my vehicle into the garage no problem at all. And another cool thing about it is you can actually tilt it back when there are bikes on it. That way it gives you more room. So if you have a second person to help you, you can do that. That way you have access to your trunk that you can still get into it easily, and then you can just lift the bikes back up into place. So that's kind of a cool feature as well, to be able to access your trunk and to be able to fold it up if you don't have any bikes on it. Overall, I feel like this is a pretty nice bike rack. I love that it has a higher weight capacity. I love that you can adjust the base of it. That way you can accommodate different sized bikes. And I feel like it's very durable and very sturdy when you actually take it out and use it. So I really don't have too many complaints about it. It even has a little key lock for the hitch. That way someone can't steal it from you. And it comes with a little key. So that's a nice touch as well. So I don't know. I'm pretty pleased with it. I think it works good. It definitely does what I need it to do. It works as advertised. I guess you would say something like that. So if you want to check it out, then I'll put a link in the description below. And thank you for watching. Have a nice day.